All right, and we are live and back at Nikki T Live. I'm your host, Nick Taylor, and today I am hanging out with Erin Mikail Staples. How you doing today, Erin?
Doing good. I mean, we started off the stream coming in with the computer automatic update and we spilt
Yeah,
water
yeah,
all over my floor. So I just try to make sure that every event I go to, I bring a little excitement.
yeah. I mean, if you're not pouring water near electrical equipment, are you even living? So
You are not living. I mean, the first time we tried to do this stream, I caught the COVID. So, maybe, I don't know. I don't like to say it's people's streams I go on, but
yeah, but no. So you heard it here first. I gave Erin COVID because she wanted to come on the stream. There you go.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so
And then, yeah.
it's just science. I mean, really.
I'm
Um,
waiting for the paper to come out that like COVID actually comes via streams.
yeah, yeah,
Now what's that? It's like when everybody's like, oh, it's airborne. It's internet born.
yeah, yeah. It's in the Wi-Fi wave. So just you really got to be careful these days who you stream
Come on,
with,
Bill
I guess.
Gates.
Yeah,
Come on, Bill Gates. Uh,
cool, cool,
um,
cool. with, with that little intro there, I was gonna say, for folks who might not know who you are, Aaron, do you mind just kind of giving a quick rundown of, I guess, you don't have to go in your whole tech journey, but if you want to give like a TLDR, how you got into tech maybe, and then kind of what you're up to these days.
yeah, accident. I think that was basically the accident got into tech. I
Okay.
was working at a creative studio. Or actually, like I studied journalism first, so we realized very quickly the rule of journalism actually rings true, which is the pay is shit and everybody hates you.
Okay.
And I learned that very quickly on. I was like, this I know. And so I did from there on work at a creative studio. And then I was like, why are these engineers taking so long making email templates? It can't be that hard. I'm just going to Google how to do it myself.
Okay.
I started with the email templates, designing
Yeah,
them and coding them. That was
that's pretty
stupid.
rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like step one, don't teach people to learn to code in a workplace by yourself with email templates. That was stupid. Don't do that. Um,
Ye- Yeah, it's a little
yeah,
rough. I've had to do email templates. Not, I only did like one or two, and it was rough. You're using like old HTML, like tables, and all these like Microsoft Office CSS classes and conditional comments, which were something from Internet Explorer. It's just like it's a big hot mess. It's a big hot mess.
total hot mess. Total. And so learn that, realize, hey, this is kind of fun to solve some problems. And it gets a lot better after email templates. So moved from email templates to Shopify templates and
Oh, okay, that's an upgrade.
was doing that. Went to grad school to think about algorithms, actually was my first interest of research.
Okay.
And I was really like, man, the world's going to come to an end. All these news algorithms are changing our world and they're going to like rot our brains out. And this was like 2018. So here in
Okay.
the States, some interesting political times. It was like, I'm going to save the world of politics with algorithms and understanding them. And then I was like, JK, Cambridge Analytica can't even do that. So back to the drawing board, everybody. And
Okay.
focused on the creator economy and wrote my thesis on the viability of the creator economy for news media journalists and as it relates to fandom.
Okay.
Yeah, Cambridge Analytica, good times, good times.
Yeah, they had a
And
bit of information, those Cambridge folks. They just had a bit of
just
info.
a little bit, a little bit. But I think the cool part past that is like I took a job at a startup as a product manager because I was like, product management looks like fun, and fell into the DevRel community world because they were like, Erin, we need an open source community manager. And I was like, that's great. You're at a startup. That's your problem, boss man. Figure it out. Go raise money. And they're like, you're running a user feedback Discord. Looks like that's you, Erin. And I was like, I have never done community and DevRel in my life.
Yeah, put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
Yeah. And then I was like, sure, I'll do it. And they're like, great, we're a startup. We have no money and you're not getting a raise, but you can put it on your resume as a title and you still have to be a product manager because we're a 6-person team. So figure it out. I'm like, all right. And
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
that was my intro and really liked the building and experimenting and just learning. I'm entirely self-taught from a development standpoint. And
Okay.
now I'm in Uh, by day, I work at Label Studio, which is a open source data labeling platform in the machine learning world, which is like about data integrity. So it's very,
Okay.
very fun, very near and dear to my heart. By late afternoon, I have a college professor during the semesters, and I
No way. I
teach.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I teach. I'm an adjunct instructor, and I teach media product development. It's like tech skills for journalists
Okay. That's
at the
super
Studio
cool.
20
I had
program.
no idea.
Yeah, it's really fun. I get to like geek out on that kind of stuff again, which is like an amazing blast. Um, and then I am a stand-up comedian on the other side.
That I saw, that I knew because I pulled up your website. Actually, we can I'll
Yeah.
show that for a sec. I dropped it in the chat before, but yeah. So what kind of stand up are you, like improv, or is it just like, hey, is there anybody here from New York?
Um,
Tap the mic kind of.
I am very traditional, like stand-up. I say very traditional at first. Lately, so I this week we actually had a show. Oh hey Brian.
Oh yeah, hey Brian.
I did a show on Tuesday and I actually have the YouTube video going up tonight. So if you need some entertainment, I did an AI
Okay.
roast battle. So I'm with a group of comedians that work in AI and
Okay.
machine learning. We're a
You
bunch
know,
of nerds.
classic stand up, right? So
Classic stand-up. We're like, how do we do this? So they have been running a show and asked me to kind of be more involved with it this time around. And it is the Comedy Bites. I'll actually grab the link here. Comedy Bites group, and they are doing innovation and like AI comedy. So I
okay.
think they used to have a crypto component. They kind of got rid of that because, believe it or not, you can see the preview and the trailer on the site. And it's basically the premise is this, because everybody was like, AI is going to take our jobs as creatives. And so
Yeah.
the premise is, what if AI does take our jobs? Can it take our jobs as creatives?
Okay. Yeah. So
And
like
so
the
it is an
Terminator taking
AI
over.
versus human hour and a half comedy special of
Okay.
we've got improv. I roasted Elizabeth Holmes.
Okay.
So there's a 20 something minute roast of me versus Elizabeth Holmes. And
Okay.
then they built an AI bot of me
Okay.
using
Cool. Cool.
generative AI, and I had to roast myself.
Yeah. Brian's asking in the chat, can chat GPT be funny intentionally? I'll leave that
You'll
to
have
the
to.
AI comedian experts to answer that. I can't answer that
You
myself.
know what? There's a YouTube video. I'm gonna plug my YouTube. It's go to Erin.tube and you'll find my YouTube and it'll go up tonight. There you go. And yes, there actually is a musical guest and a theme song that someone made. So,
Okay. Okay.
and we had a musical. We had a musical guest in a first time ever musical video last time.
Ooh,
And
no
then
way.
AI generated improv. We did have an improv group this last time, and they did
Okay.
like an AI group that was like doing. It was like, hey, this is our AI group, and we do things, and it's fun. But they're also, I think we're gonna do a Twitch stream tomorrow on it as well. I do some Twitch comedy,
Okay. Okay.
so I'll share it with the club,
Yeah. No,
share it with the
that's
class.
good.
So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
No, that's super cool. I think that's awesome. I think, well, one, being being an adjunct professor, as well as being a comedian, that's putting yourself out there. And I think these are definitely probably good reasons why you're probably killing it in DevRel, because these are, you got to put yourself out there in DevRel. So these probably pair really nicely with that kind of role.
The one thing I think doing comedy, I've been doing it for 2.5 years now. I got into it on accident, much like many other things. The story there is less exciting. I was
Okay.
drunk with my downstairs neighbors who are professional comics. And at the time I was running a satire podcast and they're like, you write satire. We've seen your like creative writing. You
Yeah.
run a satire podcast. Why don't you do stand up? And I'm like, I'm not funny. I don't do stand up. That's not for me. 3 beers later,
Yeah.
I was like, fine, I'll take a class. And then the first class was horrid. They make you do a 12-minute stand-up set, no prep,
Okay.
with lights on a stage in front of people, and no one laughs. And you just stand there and you're
Ouch.
like, after that one class, you can do anything. Like that's my belief.
Yeah.
Like you bomb so hard and they make you stand up there your whole time, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah, you're
wonder what
probably there
the slide is.
like, I got nothing else to lose now. It's
Yeah, code not working in a demo. Well, that's simple problems now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's just a super cool background, to be honest. I don't know if I know any. I don't think I know any comedians that I can think of. I knew some people in AI, but not the AI comedic crossover that you're doing.
I don't know that anybody else is doing it, to be 100% exact.
Well,
And,
it's an untapped market, so get in
untapped
while it's
market.
hot, folks.
But I'm really laughing because I see all these things. Why did the database admin divorce his wife? She had one too many relationships. I'm loving the jokes. Um, I have a whole
Yeah.
bit about tech layoffs. It's great. It's on my YouTube. Have fun with that. But uh, believe it or not, my husband is a journalist, and he has to hear my
Okay.
dumb jokes. He
It's
edits
all
them,
good.
and
It's
he's
all
like,
good.
"That's not that." He's like, "They're actually not that funny sometimes."
Well, at least he's, I guess, good, honest feedback, But I think from what
Yeah,
I've read before, like in terms of, and we'll definitely talk about what we were going to talk about today at some
yeah.
point, but like
We'll get there.
I think it's like as a comedian, like bombing hard is like a good thing, almost kind of like a rite of passage to some degree. I've never been one, but like just like I've watched enough comedy shows and heard stuff from like either that, what is that, comedians in cars with Jerry Seinfeld, or I've just
Oh yeah, yeah.
interviews with other comedians, like just bailing hard and stuff. So bombing hard, sorry, but
Yeah, you gotta
yeah.
it's a rite of passage, and I mean, it's like similar, like you have your rites of passage of DevRel, like you have your first demo that doesn't work. Or
Hmm.
if you're me, the first time I ever Twitch streamed, I didn't connect my microphone. So it's 20
Oh,
minutes of
okay, okay.
silence. And I had like one
Oof.
person watching that knew me and texted me on my personal phone. They're like, "Do you know you've been silent for 20 minutes?"
Yeah,
And I was
that's a
like,
little rough.
I also did have one a few months ago with PJ Metz where we were working on like a machine learning tutorial actually and doing it together. And I was trying to
Okay.
improve my skills, and PJ and I were working through it. And we spent 45 minutes putting things in the wrong folder.
Yeah. Ouch.
So I feel
That's
like you can just laugh at those things now.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. If you can't laugh it off, like it's just yeah, no, totally. Yeah, and Bald Beard Builder is asking, is bombing as a comedian like giving a live demo during a talk that fails? Potentially, I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I think at least like live talks are actually easier because your audience is usually other technical people
Yeah, yeah,
that
true.
like also you also have usually have something else on the screen. And like everybody's been to a bad tech talk. Like I'm gonna say that. Like you've likely seen one or like been like, wow, that wasn't really great or what I was expecting. And like
Yeah,
that's okay. And I think like your audience is usually other technical people. So they're like, it's okay, I've been there. I've seen that. I've had my code too not working. So I think it's actually like a good skill to be comfortable failing in public.
yeah.
When you're in DevRel or an educator. When you're in comedy, people paid for you to be funny, or maybe
Okay,
just
yeah, yeah.
showed up
That's
and
true.
took 2 hours out of their day, and you're just like, well, that wasn't funny, which is a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
more cringe because they're like, your one goal is like, I'm attending this thing, and it's like your first ones, it's like
yeah.
you've done like comedy for like three people, and it's like, how do you hype three people up without making awkward eye contact the entire time?
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just yeah, because there's usually like, when you're giving a presentation or something, just look at one person in the crowd way back, and they might not notice, or like just stare somewhere, and then like here you've just got like the person's probably like, why are you still staring at me? Say
Yeah,
something funny.
say something funny. Say something. Please be funny. Or it's
Yeah.
like you have seen people like, oh, like because you can see people like walk out during your set sometimes. And like, I host a bar show, and it's at a bar, and it's
Okay.
some people like they just like like most people are going to a bar and they just happen to be at a comedy show. Like that was not their plan. Like they did not be like, I'm going to a comedy show tonight. So there are that group that we
Yeah.
always get. And so they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get another drink. And it's like, I know I wasn't that funny. It's fine. Just gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
sit here now.
Well, it's still, I think that's cool you're doing that though. Like I know my cousin and his wife, they've been a part of an improv group, and improv. I think if
It's
you're
harder.
all in the
That's
group,
another beast.
yeah, yeah,
I
but
couldn't
it's
do that.
like it is funny, but like I think it's the same thing. Like when you're bombing in that, like if you've ever seen like Whose Line Is It Anyway? I don't even know if that show's still on anymore or if it's just in
Yeah, is it?
syndication. But like, but yeah, it's just like here's a random topic that we didn't even prep you for. Go and then like throw in this other thing. So it's like I don't know. It's easy to criticize, I think, but like,
Mhm.
it's pretty tough to do, like just thinking on your feet like that, especially if it's trying to be funny, so I don't know. It could be like one of
It's a
those team
see, I am
building things.
impressed to improv. Like I am very impressed by improv folks because I don't have that.
Hmm.
Like I am too much of a control freak, and comedy is actually very mathematic. Like
Okay.
stand up and sketch is very like there is a formula, there is a structure there,
Okay.
and that's like, and you memorize everything and then you just rearrange it. So it's like I know what I'm going to
Okay.
say, I know my set, I know how people react to it,
Oh yeah, true, true. Yeah,
and
if
so
you
but
have a
like
set piece,
improv,
yeah.
I have to you have to do that on the fly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think improv is funny between friends. I don't know if like on a stage I mean, who knows? Put 3 beers in me and who knows? Maybe I'll do it. But
Yeah, I'll just yeah. If you're ever in New York, I'm just gonna sign you up. You're up on the
all
show.
right, okay, well, there we go. There's another
Okay,
reason.
everybody,
Okay.
anybody who has a conference that they want to sponsor Nick to go to New York.
Well, I actually there's React Summit in New York. I submitted one CFP. I'm gonna look at some other topics to submit there, so I could literally end up there in I think it's in the fall.
Okay, React
So
Summit,
fingers
everybody. I'm
crossed.
excited for Nick's. I'm just gonna start tweeting him. Be like, really excited for Nick's comedy to be
Yeah, yeah. So looking forward to Nick's talk that hasn't been accepted yet at this conference, so we can hear his
comedy.
improv
Like,
skills. Yeah.
yeah, we actually just didn't know. We're all just here for the. I'm just gonna create that. That's how like hype happens, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be yeah. No, I'm here for the hype train. No, let's do it.
I'm
I'm not
here.
too far
I'm
from
also
New York, anyways. So
yeah. I mean, just hop, skip, and a jump.
yeah,
So
yeah. Cool, cool,
but
cool.
yeah, I mean, like we can also geek out on like open source data labeling or like I guess like what that has to do with comedy.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
trying to make a
exactly.
tangent here. I was like, this
Yeah,
is what
no,
happens in improv. They're
that's a
like,
great segue. Well, I mean, you were talking about things being structured in your comedy, so maybe you need to label the parts of it. I don't know. That was a terrible segue too,
you do label
but
parts. We can label parts of a sentence. Like here, I'm
yeah,
actually gonna get a cool, fun data set. We'll get some cool data out.
cool, cool. So yeah, so while you're doing that, I guess uh, for folks who might not be familiar about this, we'll talk about two aspects. Like first, what is data labeling? For folks that might be new to it, and also
hmm.
what's the open source spin here. I'm a fan of open source, so I can kind of make some connections there, but just kind of like open source data labeling versus I guess commercial data labeling.
Yeah, I think so I think a lot of it is like first off data labeling if people are into machine learning or they're like at least playing with chat GPT like that we've heard of this wonderful thing called AI, I guess these days.
Yeah.
Likely one part of it was data labeling. And so data labeling, computers don't really understand what our faces are or our voices or what cool moves I'm doing, what the awkward thing I'm doing with my hands right now. They don't understand that at all. So like
Yeah, yeah.
computers need to be told what that is. And they also need to be told what that is typically when you're building it in the context of why they need to be understand what it is. So we talk about like object detection, which is, hey, can computers pick out different parts of an image? Like, can they pick out this is my face, this is the background,
Hmm.
here's a picture of my dog? Like, they need to be able to told to identify those things.
Yeah.
And data labeling is just the process of literally telling the computer those parts. The
Okay.
context side of it comes in when our use case for like object detection data labeling, which is identifying objects, is very different for like autonomous vehicles.
Hmm.
If I said autonomous right the first try, I should get a point. Where's the like but in the case of autonomous vehicles, you obviously don't want them like driving off the road and like hitting your grandma. That would be
Yeah.
terrible. So
Yeah.
you need to label this is the road. This is the white line on the road. This is the tree. This is your grandma walking down the middle of the road again. Where is she going? That's one use case, which is going to be very different from a case of
Okay.
like labeling, parts of a sentence. So in sentiment analysis, or to do a lot of the
Yeah.
speech generation, computers need to understand, like, what is a noun? What is a proper
Okay.
noun? Why do I capitalize the first word in a sentence? And
Okay.
so
It goes
you've got
that
to
deep. I didn't
actually,
realize. Okay.
yeah, so you can do literally anything. And I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. I'm actually grabbing I found a data set that has the, that's what, finding patterns in um, the dialogue from the show of The Office. So
Okay.
someone did that. I'm gonna see if I can grab this data set. I just found it on the internet. And like, why
Okay.
is it like the open source part is important for the whole, um, like, why is when we talk about machine learning and models, I'm getting like, everybody's like, is AI going to take our jobs? No, it's not. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's going to automate our boring stuff, hopefully. Um, I will brag. I did go in this comedy roast battle. I went 3 for 3. Humans beat the AI, and we were funnier every time. But I also bullied my husband that if he didn't laugh really loud at my jokes, and I told him if he didn't boo the AI, we
Okay.
might have to go to couples therapy. So like, but so we're not in couples therapy, and I beat the AI, so
All right. Double win.
they're not
Double
taking
win.
my job today. Double win. Um, this all being said, right now we're still kind of working through, like, if you've ever done a lot of the chat GPT, like, and I'm curious to hear, like, if you played around with it, like, it coming from more of a writing background, I'm like, it technically sounds right,
Yeah.
but it doesn't flow. It's like clunky. It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
I can feel that. Like I have access to Chat GPT, and I actually got access to GitHub Copilot Chat yesterday.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, no, yeah, when you enter stuff, like if you're, I guess asking for like code examples or like, how do I do this? I don't really care so much about the language, but it's actually kind of fitting. I was streaming with Colby Fayok yesterday, who works at Cloudinary, and near the end of
Oh,
the
yeah.
stream, there was we hooked up to a Google plugin in Cloudinary that was able to uh, pull out keywords, so like labels, I guess,
Mhm.
like on my stream here we have an alpaca, so we were using my alpaca image and we were superimposing on another image, and then the Google plugin, I forget what it's called, but it was trying to detect
Mhm.
what was in the picture, and at first it thought that my alpaca had a beak. Then we ran it again where it was like kind of more prominent, the alpaca, and then it goes, okay, it's got a snout now, but it thought it was a sheep though. But anyways, it did all this data labeling, which I believe is what you're referring to. I think it's the same thing,
Mhm.
um, but then we were like, what's something fun we can do? This is near the end of the stream, and we were like, I said, like, well, maybe we could use the labels it generated to create alternate text for the image. And so basically I took that whole array of labels it gave, and I put it into Chat GPT, and I can probably drop it in the chat. But basically, it gave this super long, funny. It was like super funny. Yeah, it was labeled bird's eye landscape, and this is based on a ton of labels. So I don't know if Twitch will let me paste the whole thing in. It doesn't look like it, but here's a good chunk of what it did. So for context, this was a picture of my alpaca, and there was like clouds in the background and stuff, but it was kind of weird. Okay, we lost Erin for a second here. Okay, I'll go see if she's coming back. All right, I still see you're online. We did
I
lose your
can.
camera. Did you turn off your camera? Because I see it's turned off right now.
Oh, it doesn't show me that it's turned off. I'm assuming you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just popped your
Yeah, that
camera
says,
back on.
oh, it says, yeah, it just refreshed my camera. It disabled. No, I have a camera. The blue light is on. I'm
Weird.
just gonna click
I
refresh.
see. Yeah, you should come
This is
back in a
weird.
second.
Let's see. Come on, camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. That was interesting because I could hear you the entire time and it just like went black for a
Oh,
second.
okay, okay. Yeah,
So
because I see you. Well, I can hear you, so you're obviously still
yeah,
connected. Um, but yeah,
I'm
it's
just
maybe try
gonna
switching cameras.
yeah. Yeah, it won't even
That's
let me
okay.
switch. I'm gonna refresh. We're gonna refresh. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. That's the beauty of live streaming. It's not a perfect YouTube video, so I always embrace it when things aren't perfect. All right, so Erin will just be back in a second. She's just jumping back on. But yeah, like I was saying when I was with Colby yesterday, um, basically uh, put in. Oh, there you are. Okay. Um, so like I was saying, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can totally hear you. I'm just
Okay.
more like I have no idea what happened.
I'm guessing could be related to the water that's built close to the computer. Maybe I don't know. Water,
I'm thinking it's
electricity.
a that was on the floor. It was luckily that was on the floor, so we lucked out on that. It just was all over my lovely pants. It was like spilling out all over
Okay.
my pants today. And the dog, he was not happy about that. But likely it's I did do an update of my camera right before this, so it might be a
Okay. Yeah,
camera
I would
update.
say that could be suspect. I made this mistake. I think it was like an hour and a half before a stream with Mike Hardington like about a month ago. My OS updated, so like I had to restart Mac OS, and then all of a sudden my streaming software said, "Hey, there's an update." And then my
That's
audio thing, there's an update, and I'm like,
oh,
"Okay, okay, okay." And then all of a sudden everything came to a grinding halt, and I had to reschedule them. So,
I do remember that. I was actually listening to that. Sorry.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to that, but I do think that's probably it because I did update the OS today because I was behind on updates, and then I was like updating other things. So, whoopsie,
Yeah, no, so now
microphone didn't have an update yet, so we're good.
okay, okay. Yeah, no, I've just made it a rule now since that happened. I'm like, I'll update after a stream. I'll reboot my computer too, just for good measure, and then so far it's been fine now. But yeah, like I was saying before you went dark there for a second. So I basically popped in to Chat GPT. This is I can share my screen. The only annoying thing
Mhm.
about Chat GPT that I find in the UI is like it shows all of my things on the left. Not that there's anything sketchy there, but it's like I don't necessarily want to show. Mind you, probably the use case of showing it on stream is not a typical one. So, uh, but uh, but
I mean,
anyways, this
if it's,
is
I have to go log into mine, and it's like usually like I think the last time I was like trying to write a blog post and it was like, tell me 5 other ways to say this. Like, actually, that's like one thing that I've been doing. Like, if I find myself getting
yeah,
really repetitive, and it's tell me like 5 different ways to say this phrase, which has actually been a pretty
yeah,
useful one. I
yeah.
usually edit it, but it's
Okay.
like good for getting you out of the blank page syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, I know for sure. Yeah, so the prompt I gave to show that's not the entire alternate text it outputted that I have in the chat there, but I just said create alternate text from these keywords, and then it was basically the list of keywords that the image generated with that Google plugin, and it just basically it read like something super funny because it's like it made a story, you know. So and the other thing is I could regenerate a new response and the story will be different. Like now it's saying, yeah, I regenerated it and now this is what it's saying. So it's not the whole thing again because I can't paste the whole thing in, but uh, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I don't really use it in that kind of context right now. I've been just because of the work I do. I'm typically looking for, how do I do like stuff I was normally Googling before. I'm using Chat GPT more right now.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've been doing. And same thing with
I
like GitHub Copilot. Like I'll put a comment saying what I'm trying to do, and it'll generate some code and stuff.
no, and I think that's like a lot of what I've been using that for is a lot of how do I think of this in that way? Like new ways to say something. Like it helps with the blank page syndrome. It helps with like I use some of the generative AI stuff. Apparently, like using it for jokes to kind of
Yeah.
just get that blank page syndrome out, get things going, get kind of things hanging out that way. But
Mm-hmm.
I have, so we can actually show like what it looks like. So this is Label Studio. Thanks for pulling that up. Wow, great. So wonderful. Great segue. Have you done this before? Once or twice?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm from the future. So
oh, future me, future me. So here's all like Label Studio. Again, it's completely free, open source. And again, like the whole open source part is just like about showing your work and being able to get it going, get things busy, get things in the whole like world of everything.
okay.
So I should be able to go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah.
Do.
And
Let's
and
see.
I'll just grab the link for your screen share.
Mm-mm-mm.
There should be a, yeah, okay, I see it. Just give me
Cool.
one
I think
sec.
I got it. So you
All
can
right.
see all of so I'm actually going to go to Hugging Face, which Hugging Face is like, if you're interested in machine learning, want to get interested in machine learning, or like, holy cow, I have no idea where to start. It is
Yeah.
a great site to play around with.
Okay.
It is like GitHub for machine learning. So,
Okay. Do you mind
uh,
just zooming in like maybe two
oh yeah.
times? Just I
Of
can read
course.
it, but it's just more for folks catching the stream now or later.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm gonna do. There you go. So this is like this is our Label Studio page, but if you go in to just like the home page, it'll give you like, it's very much just like GitHub for machine learning. So we can go
Okay.
through and see, it says like, hey, I was playing around with some of these other ones. You can play with models. You can run them in your browser, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
You can purchase, they have a pro plan, which you can like purchase more like processing, but it
Hmm.
has data sets, it has models, spaces, which are just like live models running in the browser, or like live templates or programs that you can like work with. So
Okay.
we do have a space in Label Studio. Super great. It has one of the best like blogs if you're trying to understand like the ethics or how something works.
Hmm.
Their blog is absolutely amazing. And like their GitHub, they do have like a GitHub that has papers and all that kind of stuff. And like, I am probably using like 1/10 of what it is actually like the power behind
Okay.
it for, because it's just, again, really, really big. So this is, again, Label Studio has like a space in there, and we'll pop in the space. It'll give you, so these are all temporary. So someone at any point can reset this space and do
Okay.
that if unless you connect like a backend. So you can connect like any workspace or whatever. And this is just one way of running Label Studio. A lot of people like to run it in Docker. I
Okay.
also use it in Docker as well for kind of quick demos like this. I think the Spaces is pretty easy because it's browser based. I don't have to set up a Docker
Yeah.
container
Yeah, no, for sure.
and all that kind of nice, easy stuff. And it's a good like, hey, I want to play around with this. I just quickly, so this is again running right within here. You can even see if you go into the files, like here's everything that like built it and whatnot.
Hmm.
So it's the, I think it's super interesting. And so again, going back to the app, you can see other people have been playing around with it. You can see what's going on. I just quickly clicking on comedy labeling. So I just quickly, it's like, hey, you didn't import a data set. So step one, import data set. I went to Kaggle and I
Okay.
found this one. It's 1 million Reddit jokes. So someone scraped 1 million joke posts from April 1st, 2020 and backwards, taking from the subreddit R jokes. All posts are annotated with their score. So there is some annotation here. For those of you new to Kaggle, it's like a data science site that you can learn a lot from. So if you're new to Python or data science or machine learning, it's all
Okay.
there. You can create a new notebook as well. So if I wanted to just run this in a notebook, see if it'll run. It's
And
gonna be
when you
like, Erin, you have,
mean notebook, you mean like a Jupyter notebook?
yep. So it has
Okay.
like it's like a Jupyter notebook thing. So it's like, hey, look, I made a notebook. It's a Python library. It's a Python notebook. I can start bringing in data and whatnot. And if I wanted to write a code to call it, run it, so on and so forth, much like Jupyter Notebook or a Google Colab has one now. And so
Okay.
later on, I did pin that for if we want to dive into like, what do you actually do with this data after we've modeled it? Like, what the heck is next? So what I'll do is I'm going to pop in back into this beautiful tab. I have
Okay.
started a new project.
Okay.
I named it very scientifically, comedy labeling. If I wanted, I'd put a description.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's getting me an error with this name total is not defined. So this is part of the fun of like stealing data sets from the internet or open source data sets, is not always figuring it out. So we'll just do some
Okay.
Google magic and clean up our tables real quick.
Okay. I also like what you're saying, that you're doing this all in the browser. This makes this very accessible. I mean, obviously you can pull it locally, I guess, with Docker, like you were saying, or spin it up somewhere else. But I just like that it's approachable in this manner, that you're all in browser.
Yeah, it is super nice if you are like, I want to get super into it and do things, and you need an enterprise version that you don't want to run in the browser. We have that available as well.
Okay.
And so this is going to be like, Erin, I'm a giant data set. I decided to find a funny one that was jokes related and not go for the small one. But again, it'll pull all these things in. We'll see how long this takes to load. If not, I'll go grab some other data set. I do have a couple of random. I have a naked and afraid data set that's also pretty fun that I've been
Okay.
playing with. And it's I love the one thing, and I was talking with Rain in the about from the DevRel Collective this morning, and talking about the different flavors of like different industries. And
Okay.
it's like I started very front end, and then when I was at Orbit, it was a lot of like APIs and thinking about all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of different. Now I'm very much in Python and data science. Like there's a lot of, you've probably noticed it as well, like the different flavors. Like data
Yeah. Yeah.
science folks are, they're very academic. Most of them are from academia, or they're like, I got 6 PhDs and I'm super cool. And I'm like, that's awesome for you. And then, but most of them don't write front end. So it's very funny to see that like they're all
Yeah.
building in Docker containers or Kubernetes or that type of thing. A lot of them still
Yeah.
like we have like they're not as jazzed about like its VS Code sometimes as I am. A lot of
Okay.
them
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
terminal junkies, where I hang out with like front end folks and they're like very different,
Yeah.
very different.
No. Yeah, I feel that. I worked at an AI startup. It was conversational. What is it? Conversational not marketing. What was it? What's the term? I think it's conversational marketing. But basically, I was building out chatbots and stuff, and the researchers were really good. But it's like you said, like I would be pairing with them to build out the front end stuff, because like they were just purely there to do the research, get the algorithms going, and then it was more a question of just, okay, make it show up somewhere now for me.
Yeah, pretty much. Of course, as soon as I go to, yeah, it's like too large to import. So I am going to go try and steal this Naked and Afraid one. Assist
Okay.
steal. We love when the internet is all good. I just downloaded it. Do you know this is a smaller file that I have worked with?
Okay.
So,
I will use this moment to take a sip of coffee.
Yeah, this is a great coffee
Yeah.
list time. I don't know why I didn't. Come on, Google. Where did you drop my file?
Oh yeah, you're using Arc too. Yeah. I had
I'm all
troubles
about the
yesterday.
arc.
Oh yeah, I love Arc.
Oh,
It's my brain hurt for maybe like a week, but after that I was all good. But I love the command bar, the command K kind of, well, command L, but it's yeah, I love it. Okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
and I can
this
hear,
we
I
don't need to
can
sorry,
zoom
go
in.
ahead.
It is purely, if you're familiar with the TV show Naked and Afraid,
I haven't seen it, so
welcome.
I have something on my to-do
Yeah.
now.
Now you have some, so when I had COVID, I like mostly slept 17 hours a day. Like I lost my voice for like 24 hours
Okay.
and like couldn't breathe for 24 hours. And then I was like, after that, I just was exhausted. But like I love reality TV unabashedly. And so when
Mhm.
I get to like find cool data sets that are reality TV or pop culture based, I love 90 Day Fiance is like my guilty pleasure. But
Okay.
you can see the name of the contestant, how many days they lasted in the wild. The premise of the show is you are naked and afraid in the wilderness.
Oh, okay, literally naked. Okay, it's not
You're
it's not a
literally
metaphor.
naked. It's not a
Okay.
metaphor. And it's like a survivalist show, but you have to like survive off the land. And then obviously you have like I always joke that you have like the 3 guys in a Range Rover behind you eating Twinkies. Like, look at that dumbass. It's like eating a snake right now. My Twinkies are great right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
sorry, you're
Okay, no,
eating a
I'm gonna have
poisonous
to check
snake.
that out. Yeah, yeah.
But they do it all over the world. They have like how many days they lasted, how many challenges they went through, like how many times they've been. So this is how many times they've been on the show. So some of these people
Okay.
are like, I really like to be miserable for like, and this person has spent 215 days out in the wilderness naked. And I'm like, not
Yeah.
gonna like, not my thing, but if that's how you like it. And they can say like, here's the number of times he made it. If they get 0, it means they've left out before the end of the world. So they haven't make it. And so it just
Okay.
has all this stuff. So we can start labeling like, if we want to be like, this is sorted by, this data set is just by location. So we can literally label like, how we want to, like, locations, like what country they're in. And
Okay.
so like some of these
And
are sorted by country.
okay, and just to stop you
Yeah.
for 1 sec. So this is the
Yeah.
data set that pulled in. We're not doing this manual now. Like we already have the data with things labeled. Like someone's. I don't know if you can zoom in maybe just once or twice. It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
so much for the data set, I
Yeah.
think, but just so people can see at least one naked
Yeah.
contestant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Get the
So
blur
yeah.
the screen. Blur the screen. Just kidding. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we got their name and like how long they lasted exactly. Okay. So these are the things that the so how did it get to this data set? So it basically parsed the transcription of the show or something, or what
Or
happened
this
exactly?
is just an open source data set I just pulled. So what we'll
Oh,
do
okay,
now
okay,
is actually like label it. So like I'm playing around and using this data set to build a model, like predicting how many days someone would live in a country,
okay,
but or someone would make it. Like what is the percentage that someone would make it in one of these countries? But if you look on this list, like Alabama is not a country. So we need to clean that up
yeah,
and
okay,
label that data. So these are all countries because like Mexico is a country, but
yeah,
Florida is not. So we got to create some, and this is like what a real issue in data science would be is
okay,
someone did this and they just said the episode title was Alabama. So they put down the episode title rather than the country United States. And
hmm,
if I was building a model, it would not necessarily be, I couldn't accurately call, hey, this is the country, or
yeah,
do a run like this is this in that country. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got this now on my dashboard. I'm going to export this as a CSV because I did not do that. Download. So all I'm doing,
okay,
I'm being really mature and putting it right in my downloads folder because that's where we're going. I've dropped and dragged. And I'm just
okay,
telling it, hey, I want it to be a list of tasks for me to
okay,
achieve rather than time series. So time series is like video or audio where you'd have
okay,
things that happen over a series of time. We're just going to do a list of tasks. And then I'm going to do labeling setup. So we've created at Label Studio, sometimes you actually would have to build this yourself. And you can
okay,
still, if you want to, build this yourself. But it's like, what is the interface that data labeling looks like? Sometimes that means adding instructions. So we actually forget, and this is a fun part of ethics and machine learning. This is when I'm like, where does teacher Erin need a ethics and machine learning blurb? But when we don't give the right context, like a lot of companies do outsource their data labeling to countries that are cheaper to purchase work from.
okay,
Fine, it
gotcha,
happens. That's realistic. But when you lose the context behind why you're labeling it, so like in this case, we're labeling countries, you lose
hmm,
also some of the other important factors. Like,
okay,
if we were retraining a model, so there's a notebook I'll share, and it teaches people how to retrain GPT-2 within a Google Colab notebook, which is super cool. But
okay,
you still need data labeling because it's like if we were, say, creating content and like some kinds you can do like this is a good answer and this is a bad answer. So it's very binary.
yeah,
How do you know if it's something like a sentence in sentiment analysis? What if I'm being sarcastic?
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or it's like, or technically a dog has 4 legs is a correct answer.
yeah,
But if I'm going for, I want to label mammal or amphibian,
mm,
like
okay,
I would rather pick the mammal option versus amphibian. But, technically both dog with 4 legs and dog is a hairy creature are both technically correct.
okay,
You could also say I am a hairy creature, but
yeah.
context is dependent.
Anthony, yeah, Anthony in the chat says he's been able to detect sarcasm with ChatGPT. I'm not sure if he's being serious or not, but I am generally interested in this. Like I don't really know anything about
Yeah.
sentimental analysis. I mean, I get what it
Yeah.
means, but like how. How would okay, he's saying totally serious ass and analyze the statement. How dare you you discredit my unjustified slander? Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah. Okay.
It does. So I actually do know this because I asked the same question like when I was interviewing. I was like, can't detect none of this stuff. Like, and I was actually a skeptic. Like my first interview with Label Studio, I was like, I don't really know if machine learning's for me. Like, I don't know. This is not my jam.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, three, like the second phone call, I was like, wait, this is the coolest thing ever. Wait, time out. You can do this all day for a living and I can just learn this.
Okay.
I was like sold, but the way that you detect sentiment is like ChatGPT is like very large language models. So if someone back is labeling this data before it's building the model.
Yeah.
And again, you're looking for context. So they would label like parts of a sentence or all of that kind of stuff. But you're also looking at context. So if I send you 3 paragraphs of text and one sentence is sarcastic, you've now broken
Hmm.
the pattern. It's like serious, 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 sarcastic, serious, serious, serious.
Yeah.
And people change their tone of voice, inflections, the punctuation they use.
Hmm.
And that's with labeling, because we're able to detect that now, you can do that. Now,
Okay.
there are things like, assisted labeling, or you can plug a machine learning model. So instead of labeling 1 million images, you can label 100 and then be like, based on this small data set, label the rest of them.
Okay.
So you're not like, you know, brain like farting, oh my goodness, my brain hurts because I've labeled 10,000 images. But
Okay.
for our
Um,
very serious data set of, you know,
naked people.
country naked people, we're going to choose the text classification one because we're just putting different parts of text
Okay.
in a thing. So I'm going to put text classification. The only thing is like, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, oh, I want to sort it by the locations column. So what
Okay.
are the different locations? I want to make sure, because I actually haven't done this in a while. I did this pre-COVID last is when I opened it up. So we'll see
Okay.
how good my brain works. If it treats the comma as an individual item or not. We're going to find out
Okay. Okay.
but I want to say choose the text from the locations. And it'll be like, here's a preview of some random thing that's like locations. And it's just pulling that there. So you can see there, I want to add choices. So I would add, like, instead of positive, negative, or neutral, I
Yeah.
would go in and it'd be like, United States,
Okay.
comment. And then, Mexico. I just thought Mexico started.
Okay.
Great.
So you're building
Add your
out kind of
choices.
like the filtering.
Yep. Building how you want it filtered. You can also, if you were like, screw your handwriting this in, you can completely customize this here.
Okay.
And it's like, you see it where it creates like choice value, US, choice value, Mexico, choices.
Okay.
And so, and it like also for like, instead of saying choose text sentiment, you can change like what these say to change your interface, or even add
Hmm.
further CSS to, or either kind of like customize how it's seen.
Okay. I had a quick question about
Yeah.
the view you're in right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing that's not JSX because there's like HTML comments. Is that XML
I think, oh
or
yeah, XML. That's what it is. Sorry,
yeah,
XML.
okay. Okay.
So it is XML. Brain. You can do, if you want to completely customize the front end, you can.
Hmm.
We have people who are really adamant about dark mode. We don't have dark mode by default, and they have built it
Okay.
themselves. We love open source.
Nice.
And so if you want to completely, like, we can add like instructions on it. We can add, change the shadow of the box, all that stuff. And different people or companies or organizations I do know have done this. Like academics have customized it, their school logos on it. People
Okay.
have self-built dark mode. However you want to do, we're just going to basically be like, cool, instead of sentiment, we're going to be like, choose country.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
choices
Yeah,
name,
yeah.
it's like choices name, countries. Super
Yeah.
simple. Add it in. And now it's like, we can see where it's starting to pull these out. And
Hmm.
we've now seen like each person, and it is going to give us this. So we are going to change our interface so we can just select one of them rather than all. So we can go back to settings, interface, and I want to browse my template. Go back to natural language processing, which is anything that is text-based pretty much. So you can see like question answering, selected text span answering the follow-up question, which is like a lot of like tutorials, or like Contenda probably uses something like this. I'm just guessing.
Okay.
We will do named entry recognition, which is just going to be like, what are the different things here? Locations, add label names. Wow, I didn't realize this is what happens on Zoom. And just change these to be like United States, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to select text by words, Mexico, whatever. We'll just have US and Mexico. That's all we're labeling for speed purposes.
Okay. Yeah.
Saving it. And I just want to click label. This is, again, what it looks like. Pretty straightforward. We see all of that same data set. In these little files is where we're going to start seeing the annotations. And I can start clicking like label all tasks. So all I'm looking for is things in the US and things in Mexico. So
okay. So
and I
don't want to say basic, but a less complex kind of tagging or labeling.
Less complex. It is, yeah. It's all gonna, and it's, I'm looking at it and it's like giving me the, I can select it and it's like, oh, you accidentally selected Thailand and Ecuador. But we're gonna, and so I have bad annotation skills. And I can start to see like, oh, that was Thailand and Ecuador, which I labeled wrong, which is bad labeler. You are failed. And Louisiana. So I'm just selecting the one area.
Okay.
And then I click submit. So slide back in, selecting Alabama. It now adds that label US.
Oh, okay. And then and so basically there's, like you were saying before, you have to kind of sanitize or validate the data set before you really want to get down to business, which makes sense because anything that's user entry is potentially suspect. So that makes a lot of sense. I was curious about the tool. So like say for example, myself, I'm not somebody that I'm not a data scientist. I'm not in this space per se. Is Label Studio something that's approachable? I don't want to say for anybody, but like, is it, if you're not necessarily in that space, but you're like, I just want to get down to business. And like, even if you don't know all the terms, like you kind of know what you need to do. Is this something that you can still leverage, or is it really somebody more technical or more specific to the domain that it's geared towards?
Yeah, we do see a lot of domain specific features. Like usually if you're doing that, it's like, if you're in this space, you're kind of tending to do that because you're needing good data, or if you're doing some kind of data analysis. But we did have, Chat GPT got us an open source user. This is like one of my favorite stories to tell. Someone was like, I am an artist. And she was like, my husband is a programmer. I'm very fascinated about, she wanted to build wood grain texture on her 3D prints that she was building. So she did have some experience, but she was like, I have no idea. I asked Chat GPT how to do it, and they told me I need data labeling. And then I asked Chat GPT what labeling solutions and how do I use it. And she came to our Slack channel and she's like, hi, this is me. This is what I'm doing. I'm here because of Chat GPT and I'm trying to solve this. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? Like, but she is using it to label parts of wood grain texture to identify and eventually build like patterns up, because she wants to do more generated wood grain patterns. So she's labeling like the straight parts of the wood and the knots in the wood and different parts of wood grain texture so she can generate more wood grain texture.
Yeah, not just like straight up, lines like that look like wood. Yeah, because then it doesn't look real. So yeah.
I was like, all right. So, and this is someone who had no coding experience, no tech, like like she's pretty technical already if you're building a 3D model, but like, I don't think would ever consider herself like a data scientist person now is doing this, or, and that's kind of like interesting. We do have a get up and going tutorial. So if you're like, okay, great. I labeled a bunch of data and I cleaned it up. Big deal, Erin. That's kind of boring. So this is from our talk I went to PyData Berlin, and we gave a talk on like the importance of like reinforcement learning. So again, going back to like, why is open source so important with data, and like, why do we care about machine learning being open source and data labeling open source? We actually don't know a lot about like how ChatGPT is built. So we have a lot of assumptions, and they give us the like pretty generic answer, but like they're not putting their secret sauce in the world. Also, if you've ever used ChatGPT, it gives you like nothing is past 2021, and it's all pretty
Yeah.
generic. We've
Yeah, I was gonna
heard
ask
of
that.
like
Yeah.
like the Bloomberg model that recently came out, or Bloomberg, because they have the Bloomberg terminal, they have so much financial data,
Yeah.
and they have built like an internal Bloomberg AI that they use for data labeling, like, or for like use case, but someone had to go in and label all the parts of that.
Okay.
So they went in and trained it, but they retrained a core GPT model. So they retrained this like really big giant model to
Okay.
fit their data set and their use case. So,
Oh, nice.
and like we've started to hear of like prompt engineering, which is like when you write better prompts and get a better output, which it's fine, but you're still dealing with the same data set. Like your data set itself
Yeah.
isn't changing. What in like response though, if you want to work with new data, you have to retrain it. So this was a repo that we did. It's a tutorial. If I've dropped it in the chat as well, if there are people want to get their hands dirty with like playing around with it. All of this runs
Okay.
in a Colab notebook. So this
Oh, no way.
can all run in a Colab notebook. And it just talks about like, here's when we're talking about like how it's used. Of course, I'm like,
I'm saving this article to my pocket.
perfect. Oh, I made a pocket save. Win.
There we go.
But it's like, here's the different reinforcement learning shows how like you're giving basically your better answer based on rank. So it comes back with like four outputs, and four outputs. On those outputs, it's going to be like you're ranking them. So it's again going back to our dog example. It's like I want the most accurate example for that use case, rather than, you know, I don't really care if it has 4 legs and a tail. I care if it's a mammal or, you know, my dog Q.
Yeah.
Then you're retraining the model from that. So it takes that information and it says, I'm only labeling dogs that Erin has, or I'm only going to return responses based on Erin's dog Q.
Okay. And is this kind of like the idea? I'm still new to a lot of this
Yeah,
stuff, but because I've
you're
been
all
just
good.
been listening to some podcasts and stuff. But like, there's this project called Small Developer, and they have like, basically these small, like the idea is to have these small agents, and it's kind of like the Unix philosophy, which is like be good at one thing. So like detect Aaron's dog could be the one thing, and is that kind of like the same idea you're referring to here?
Yeah. So the more tailored and the more trained and the more specific that we create our data set and our models around, the better use case it's actually going to be. Like the reason we get pretty shit answers sometimes from Copilot, like I did something the other day and it like did not respond at all on Copilot,
Mm-hmm.
is because it's trying to do everything. It's looking at every programming language and
Yeah.
every data set, and it's not looking at one specific little tiny answer. And I think we need
Yeah.
to really
Okay.
like think about specifics think about specifics when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I think that also can reduce
Yeah.
bias, or, you know, this having human annotators to detect better data will reduce bias in machine learning, or reduce a lot of kind of the other problems that we see where it's not accurate, it's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because it's constantly learning from whatnot until you pull it off
Yeah.
of kind of everything. So yeah, it
Yeah.
has everything on how to do it, and you can read if you really want to read on like why it works and
Okay.
how it works. It was a lot of fun to geek out on. So
No,
yeah.
that's super cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 Yeah. No, I can definitely. We haven't really touched on it, but there's also like in terms of the ethical side, or not even. I don't even know what you call it, what the proper term is, but like when I worked at this conversational AI startup, like some things we realized, like we had these chatbots where it was providing a skincare regime to people based on like prompts, like, do you have dry
Hmm.
skin? Yes. Do you have it? And then one thing that wasn't taken into account is like it's all white people. So like, what, a skin regime is different for somebody with darker skin, or just totally different data set of people. And so it was just kind of interesting to see that. Like, I mean, I know a lot of these things are basically like, I think the initial things were really just white guys, doing the research.
But
So
we get really excited, and I think this is like one of my like gripes about AI Twitter right now is like there's stuff, and I don't want to dismiss. There's some really amazing people out there doing really amazing things, but like we're getting a lot of the generic thought bros. And I don't mind saying that. And it's like
that's
cool,
it.
like these are 10 AI tools that we can get out there, which is whatever, fine. But
Hmm.
they're an AI thought bro, and that's whatever. You're not understanding how the tools work, or that might work for you. Like one example I always think of is if you are a person of color, the hand washers on the sink don't work as well for you because they are trained on white skin.
Okay. Yeah, the other one that stands out that I remember reading about was like, so like I have an Apple Watch,
Mhm.
and it detects your heart rate and stuff. There's a little sensor under the bottom of it, and things they didn't. I think these things have been corrected since, but like initially it's like, oh, this doesn't work if somebody has like a tattoo on their forearm, or you have dark skin, like, or it just doesn't work as well. So it's just kind of, I think it's just interesting. Like, I'm glad those conversations happen, and then it diversifies the data set for things to work better. But it's like, it just, I don't know. I don't work in the space, so, but I just found
Yeah.
these things kind of like interesting. Like, honestly, like myself, like I would have never thought like, oh, tattoo and iWatch, like it just
Right.
wouldn't have
Like,
occurred to me. But obviously, if you had different people trying it out, so, and this kind of speaks to like why it's good to have a diverse set of people that you work with too, like.
and diverse annotators or instructions. Like, if you're doing any academic research in ML, they are very big on actually how did you train your annotators? Are they paid? Because many aren't
Mhm.
paid. They're like, oh, we'll just give it out to our interns, and it's like,
Okay.
let's be honest. Like, how many times did we have an intern task? Like, I know for me, like one of the random internships I had was stuffing envelopes to give to donors at a nonprofit. So, like, do you think I stuffed those envelopes the best they ever could be stuffed in my entire life? No. I was an unpaid intern making, no money and
Yeah,
getting a
yeah,
college credit. So, but like if you're doing that for the annotation, like you're not going to go fast. The example I always give is like in January, we had a team meetup and I was in Denver. We did like a team competition and it was like, I had just finished the tutorial on like how to use Label
yeah. Okay.
Studio in Docker and like make the most of it. So I was like, competition, whatever. I'm gonna kick all your butts. Like I know every bug, I know everything, and I am hyper competitive. And
Okay.
I'm like
Okay.
talking some mad smack. Like I love good competition. I'm talking smack. I had the lowest score out of everybody
Okay.
because I was just going fast through it. Like I was like, I'm gonna win the speed number, and it was
Yeah, yeah.
labeling movie reviews, like and doing sentiment analysis on movie reviews and seeing like, is this a positive movie review or a negative movie review?
Okay.
And
Okay.
was like missing things like sentiment or sarcasm or insert other thing I missed here. Like, but yeah, I had
Hmm.
one of the slowest scores. It's really
Okay.
embarrassing for how much talk I smacked or smack I talked. Talk I
There was
smacked.
much talk of the smack. Yes. Yeah. No. No. Gotcha. Gotcha. Still though, that's, I don't know. Yeah. Definitely interesting though. But so I don't know if there's other stuff you wanted to demo in Label Studio or talk about. Like, I'm totally fine if that's where we're
Yeah.
at. But this has
Yeah.
been
I mean, I've got a
super
few more
interesting.
minutes if anybody has like questions or if you want to work around with stuff. I also have, I dropped in the chat. I also dropped like the Hugging Face GitHub repo,
Okay.
which is if anybody wants to learn, that's literally the resources that I use to learn. And then the
Okay.
Starch Press book series on machine learning is actually great. They have like, I actually have one right here. Like I've been building a model out of this right now. So
Okay.
yay for that.
Okay.
Um, and it's been super helpful. And it's just this Starch Press practical deep learning book. I can find that link real quick.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah. Like, I
I'm down
guess.
if you like.
Yeah. No. No.
Any
I'm. I'm
questions?
in. I'm in no rush. I'm just.
Okay.
I'm kind of wondering. Um, for like Label Studio, like if I wanted to get started today, like myself, like I know you gave us a demo,
Mm.
so obviously sign up, or like is there a free tier, the paid tier, or
It's
how does
totally
it all work?
free. There's totally free. And I'm actually grabbing 2 tutorials that we have. So we have both how to get started with Label Studio. So I'm actually
Okay.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
looking at
see.
here.
It's in the be under the blog. So we've got
Okay.
some best practices here. Bam. Um, best
Okay.
practices we literally just published today. Um, an introduction to machine learning with Label Studio.
Okay.
So if you're like, hey, great, I want to start learning how to actually incorporate this with machine learning and like what's next for that, it walks you through from 0 to 1 and gets you started with that. And then
Okay.
we also have a getting started and running it in Docker tutorial as well. So I've dropped all of those in the chat. And then if you guys want to hang out, we're always down on, and it has like the getting 0 to 1 with Label Studio. It takes you from I've never written a line of code in my life
Okay.
to why does this matter? So
Okay.
have some
Yeah.
fun. It was a lot of fun to kind of play around with it. And then you'll be able to use like from this tutorial, you'll even have the skills to kind of start playing around with some RLHF, which is reinforcement learning from human feedback,
Okay. And
and
okay.
models and stuff.
Yeah, and I guess this could be my naive question potentially, but so like I'll go through the tutorials and then I do some labeling and stuff, and like I got I'll get a pretty decent understanding, for somebody who's never done this before. Uh, where do I go from there? Like once I've labeled my data set, can I access it outside? Like if I wanted to make an app, or like how does it all kind of come
Mm-hmm.
together?
Yeah, so you can either export it directly from Label Studio in a CSV or we have image files. So it's like if you want to do it, you can import it to a database if you want to host a database option.
Okay.
Um, and then if you're like, okay, so I actually want to start building a model, you could actually connect it to a lot of like model hosting platforms. So a Hugging
Okay.
Face, or if you have a model somewhere, you can connect it pretty directly on that. So the ML
Okay.
tutorial does walk you through it and like why it's important. You can
Okay.
also find a lot of models if you just want to play around on Hugging Face. And that's where I usually kind of start, is
Okay.
running and goofing around with Hugging Face, because they're just a really great, first off, they're like amazing. Everybody on the team that I've met there is like super great, super ethical. They have a lot of leaders in the industry as far as ethics go.
Okay.
So that's like a lot of the kind of stuff that I can't knock it, like.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. It's yeah, okay, no. Cuz I definitely
It's
need
like,
to dig into this. Oh,
yeah, and if you want
Anthony's
to
calling
jam
it.
together,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for
tethics.
sure. Anthony's, yeah, Tethics.
Yeah, all the tethics. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fascinating. There is a really great. I'm actually gonna go find it. Rob DeWitt. Shout out to Rob DeWitt. Is someone who is in the space as well. But I love his content. He actually built a how to build a Pokemon generator bot, and it does require data labeling. So I'm gonna go
Okay.
find it on GitHub because it's like amazing. But you can build, and he walks you through like how to build it.
Okay. And that's kind of cool too, cuz like obviously uh a Pokemon based thing is potentially not like a world changing thing, but it's a fun way to learn, I think, which is like the fun part of it.
Oh, I just got this. This good reference. That's great.
Okay.
But yeah, it's how to it takes this whole how to generate Pokemon from a Python notebook. And so you
Okay.
can label different, like if you wanted to improve like the type of Pokemon that you're doing, you could label like I only want to label water type Pokemons, and that's how
Okay.
you would use this data set in combination with like a stable diffusion, and you would change the code in your model to be like, look at my, you know, water Pokemon only.
Yeah, I love how I love Rob's tagline. From the Netherlands, I'm a developer advocate, and I'm also a water Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like I'm a big fan of what he's been up to, and like just an amazing person as well. So I also dropped the code for the project as well in
Okay.
the internet, and it has like how to do it from everything, which is like really fun, and like how to play around with it.
I'm gonna go give that a star so it's in my list. Okay, cool.
My stars are a hot mess express. So I'm always like, this is a cool thing. And then I have like 400 stars and I'm like, just kidding. I'm working on a repo right now that I just started on the side, so it's brand new, but it's open to
Okay.
contributions. I take this very seriously. I like did it on the train because I was upset and I was trying to find cooler data sets other than
Okay.
my own. So it is a pop culture data list that has currently 3 options in it.
Okay.
I was like, I'm making an awesome list with not lame data examples because these are the things in my life right now, and you can see it has not been
Okay.
maintained like at all. But
Okay.
uh,
Naked and Afraid though. It's got Naked and Afraid.
it's got Naked and Afraid. Could you tell I was worried about skate music? There is a boy band one I think that I've been playing around locally,
Okay.
and it's just like open data set. It's really hard when you start playing around with the stuff to get the right data set.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always like,
Okay.
ah, man, I wish that I had more. But also the maintainer of this Naked and Afraid data set is like amazing. I found him. I'm gonna out myself. This is like Erin is outing herself as a weirdo comedian, and I have a multi Reddit on Reddit about my reality TV
Okay.
that
Okay.
and that's how I found the person who built this data set, and I've
Okay.
been used. And
It's all
I was
good. It's
like,
all
whoa,
good.
this is the coolest thing ever. And then I was like, I work in machine learning. Can I please play with this like 4 tutorials? And he's like, yeah, I guess that's.
That's
But
awesome.
the contestants on the show are actually active in the subreddit, and they
Oh,
help
no
us
way.
update this data set. So the internet, man.
Yeah, they're like, actually, I was naked for 215 days, not 212. Just like you to
Come
update the
on,
data, please. Yeah.
please update the data. They actually are really great about being like, uh, this person's great, or this person's, I can't believe I'm medical now, or like this person, because you do have episodes like seasons where they have to be a partner
Okay.
together. I say that I've watched all of them. I've watched like 3 seasons, and that's it. So like, I'm not even like a hardcore fan. I just love the community around this.
Okay. Okay.
It
Well,
has a
no,
very
that's
like
great.
following of people in this subreddit.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
actually
I
yeah,
think it's
awesome.
good because because like obviously you're a fan of that show. I think it makes it more interesting and compelling to want to work on something related to it. It's like, because like I don't know about you, but like I tend to like I think people in general tend to lean towards if they're good at something, they'll definitely put more time in that versus like oh, I suck at this or I'm not good at it. And it's not necessarily you do, it's just you just haven't put in time into it and stuff. So I think I really like the idea of like working with fun data sets like you said like a TV show or like Pokemon because I think it can kind of pique anybody's interest because it's basically something they can relate to. So
Yeah, so I have a good friend who runs the pudding.cool site, which if anybody is interested, it's like wants to geek out on like it's a probably my favorite example of machine learning and use of it. But they all do everything open source. And if you're new to Python, they actually have some really great resources for Python
oh,
learning
okay,
as well. I
cool.
Python's weirdly the only language I've had any formal instruction on. Whoops. And it was all like notebooks of visualizations and learning how to
Okay,
make like basic visualizations. But they are the people who did like I will install your Spotify for you and you plug it in your Spotify. But they've actually open
okay,
sourced all their data and how they prepare their data. And they have
okay, okay,
tutorials on basic data science principles and because they're all journalists first and storytellers first and machine learning people last.
okay, okay, okay.
I think it's
Gotcha.
super cool. So
No, it does look fun. And side note, but I like the look of the site too.
yeah. And so yeah,
Awesome.
here's their first tutorial is how to make dope shit. So
Okay. Yeah. No, definitely. Lots for me to grok on because just like the overwhelming like so many things to learn, but I definitely think investing time into definitely this space probably makes a lot of sense. um so I guess like right now, like for people, like you said, label studios open source, this is based off of the company, like because I think the company you work at, it's called Hartex, is that right?
yep. So the parent company is Hartex. I'm on the label studio side, so I get to play around with all the open source and fun, and it's just like that's one of the products.
Okay.
Um, and but it is open source, it is free. There's no plans to change it. When that was a huge pull for me when I was looking for my next role, like I was pretty adamant that I wanted to be an open source and didn't really
Hmm.
look at roles that weren't open source.
Yeah.
It was something that I loved. It's how I learned a lot was through open source. And so when I was interviewing there, that was like one of the first and foremost questions that came up.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. Like, I really enjoy working in open source. It's not to say I won't not work in something that's not open source, but right now it's like Dev 2 is all open source. Pretty much,
Mhm.
I would say like I can't think of anything closed source that I've really worked on at Netlify yet. It's all been open source stuff, and you know, it's just great. I just like working out in the open. Like once you get past that, oh no, people are gonna see my dirty laundry kind of feeling. If you have that feeling, after that, it's just you know, I just enjoy interacting with the community and because your code's out there, you can share it with other people too. You know, it's a good learning tool as well. So there's you know, and
Yeah.
and we have some mutuals working over at another place that's all about open source, like open sauce, and then
Hmm.
and yeah, no, it's just
It's super cool.
it's a fun place to be in.
It's fun. We actually have a lot of former Netlifiers on the team.
Oh no
So
way! Didn't know. I did not
label
know
studio.
that.
So yeah, Lauren Sell is our VP of marketing. So
Oh yeah, I
uh
think you mentioned this before we were gonna go stream last time before you got COVID. Because
yeah.
I think I might have connected with one of them. I think I might have connected with Lauren on LinkedIn
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
after.
LinkedIn or something. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Lauren and like, but like I think it was overlap for times. Like Lauren, Nate, Brandy was at Netlify. We had like a huge like a lot of people, and I think it was just people like working together in open source. But it was a very small
Yeah.
world. I feel like the small world.
Oh no,
So,
yeah. It's always a small world. It's a big world and a small world at the same time. Like, yeah. No, for sure, for sure.
but
Cool, cool. Yeah.
unfortunately, I do have a call at 3. I actually have to prep for. What is this work?
No,
I
no,
have to
no,
actually
yeah.
do my other job. But
Yeah, no.
thank you so much
I
for having me, and hope this was exciting and learning.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's super, super. Not informal is not the word I wanted to say. Informational. That sounds terrible too, but no, it was super
Yeah,
cool seeing all this, and I'm probably gonna have to bug you at a later date to when I'm a little less busy to dig into some of this stuff a little more. And yeah,
yeah.
I do have to. I have a hard stop at in 10 minutes too. So, but yeah, no, it's a great place to end. I'm just gonna drop links where people can find you again. Uh,
Mhm.
Thanks again for taking the time. I know you're super
Of course.
busy, and I'm glad you're feeling way much better since getting COVID.
I have a voice.
Um,
I
yeah,
would have
yeah,
made it 30 minutes and then been like, let me go cough up a lung. Even the Dev Relish the next day, I kept was being like, I'm gonna go cough off camera
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
5 minutes. So,
Cool, cool, cool. Awesome.
but yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
for folks, next week there's no stream. I'm gonna be at Render ATL. So if you are at Render ATL, do not be shy at all. Come say hello to me. I'll probably be wearing a dev shirt or a Netlify shirt. That's pretty much my wardrobe, aside from
I'll get you a
other.
Label Studio one too.
All right, I'm
It's
in.
got
I'm
a
down.
possum on it.
I know, I know. I saw it. I loved it when the loading screen was on. I saw the possum. So yeah, I will definitely not say no to that. Cool, cool. But yeah, we'll be back the following week, and I'll just drop the schedule if folks want to check that out. And yeah, thanks again, Erin. Have fun on your
Yeah, thank
call,
you.
and yeah, we'll see you all in a couple weeks. And
Sounds great.
just
Later,
mind
Nick.
staying on for 1 second.
Mhm.
Take care, everybody.